webinar today on assistive gaming and toy control. We're really lucky to have Bob Segu with us today, who's in charge of UK and international sales for Pretorian Technologies. Bob is based in the UK but travels extensively and is presenting to us from Italy this afternoon. So that's exciting. Bob has been in the assistive technology industry for over 14 years and is also a parent of a young adult who is non-speaking, Archie, his son, who was the motivation for him to join the industry to find solutions that would support him and also help others with their communication via AAC and more recently with their access needs, be it a computer, switch, or what he's talking about today, assistive gaming. So thank you very much for joining us, Bob, and I will pass over to you. We'll have about just over 20 minutes for Bob's presentation and then a bit of time for questions at the end. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. And if we don't manage to answer them during the presentation, we'll ask them at the end of the session. Okay, so thank you, and over to Bob.
Hi, everybody. Welcome from a very rather chilly Bologna in Italy, which where I am at the moment. It's great to join you. Thanks for giving your time to jump onto this webinar on assistive gaming and toy control. So it's a privilege to be doing another session with Core Scotland. So I'm going to jump straight into this because I've got quite a bit to get through, and I want to try and cover as many bases as I can. Excuse me, my voice is a bit froggy this morning. This afternoon. Just so you know, I've just been talking to Joanne, and I will be distributing these slides to Robin and Joanne at Core Scotland, so that if anybody wants these slides, they can access them, and also the recording. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully it'll pick up. Oops. There we go. Right. Here we go. So, assistive gaming. So, it covers a lot of different aspects from console gaming or conventional console gaming to PC gaming and so forth. It's an incredibly popular topic, and it's great for myself and Prtorian to be on the cusp of the wave with regards to innovation and bringing solutions through to people like this young gentleman in the picture there, who just want an opportunity to take part in an activity that kids of his age, his peers, do without a thought. So it's incredibly fulfilling to be able to bring solutions for individuals that really sort of like need and want to access gaming and have fun. So I'm going to hopefully I can navigate this. Great. I'm going to really skip through a lot of this stuff. So just a real overview of the company. You can see the details there. We are a very small company, but the key thing in Prtorian, we design and manufacture on site. We're based in Gainsborough in the UK, in Lincolnshire, and we're an OEM. So we design and manufacture all the products that you see, bar two, I believe. Everything else is designed and built and shipped from our HQ in Gainsborough. And so we are, we stick to sort of guidelines as far as MDR and ISO 9001. But about me, Joanne's done a fantastic job in already sort of like give me a bit of background on myself, so I won't sort of like spend too much time on that. All I will say, one size fits one ethos is something I think that anybody who's involved in assistive technology or AAC or whatever discipline within that field, you've got to think out of the box. You've got to look at a solution and say, okay, I can't just pick something off the shelf, and that it's a question. A solution's got to be tailored to that individual. So the one size fits one is obviously a play on one size fits all, but it's an ethos that runs throughout the company. This rather handsome young man, he does skip a generation. Maybe skip me and landed on him. is my son Archie, who is an eye gaze user from the age of 5 years of age, and he's now 18. Presents in conferences as an avid gamer, and is now looking at other areas of assistive technology that are going to help him with his independence and how he goes forward in life. So, yeah, really, really, a great motivation for me. But there are so many other individuals that I've worked with over the years that are equally motivating. But yeah, he's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's great to see that technology is come on in such a way that he's actually able to show what he's able and what he's capable of doing. As a parent, you always know what your child's capable of, but to be able for him to be able to see it and realize it himself is incredibly empowering for him and for me as a parent. Why assistive gaming? Well, there's some really good bullet points. There are so many more I can put on there, but I think those are the key ones. I think there's some real, with the second with regards to stimulation, I think there's some really takeaways from assistive gaming and therapy from a therapy perspective. And I give you an example of an eye gaze user who gave up on eye gaze. Found it too difficult, a bit mundane. There was too much focus, and there was too much effort involved. But they wanted to get into gaming, so they utilised their eye gaze for gaming. Then came back to the communication, and the skill set they developed from utilising their eye gaze for gaming meant that they could easily navigate their way around various page sets. They were using a Pretorian device. They can navigate through page sets, and their communication just rocketed. And so there is a real, I think, a real link between the assistive gaming aspect and the therapeutic aspects of it. But yeah, there's so many other factors that I've mentioned there that you can really see there that are equally as important, as it were. This is how it all began. That rectangular white a little controller was designed by Microsoft. It's really hard to believe it came out in 2018. It feels like it's only been around for a short period of time, but it's been around for quite a while. Gentleman on the left in the picture with the impressive beard is Bryce Johnson, and lady next to him is Caitlin. Both of those individuals were responsible for coming up with the Xbox adaptive controller. It is still the benchmark for assistive controllers. As you can see in the picture at the bottom, you've got all the switch access ports, and those are standard 3.5mm jack switch inputs. So any standard switch will work with the adaptive controller, and you just plug in and it'll replicate whatever whichever the input is set for, as it were. And there's a bit of more of a close-up picture of it. You've got USB ports on either side, so you can plug in a USB joystick, as it were. What happens with it? One of our products are designed for Xbox, as it were, and I'll mention what that is in a moment. But yeah, it works wirelessly, it works wide. This is an Xbox controller. So when you link it to an Xbox console, it sees it as the adaptive control, but as an Xbox controller. So it's within that Xbox ecosystem. So it works seamlessly with the Xbox consoles, with the S all the way up to the, I know what the latest one is, a black one. I know it might be the one, it might be another one, but it works with all of them, as it were. So what we did, we've got, as you can see in the two pictures there, we've got our smoothie switches, which are our wired switches, and we come in two sizes, 75 and 125mm. And we've got our joystick, which is the Optima joystick, which is a joystick that can switch between gaming mode and mouse and cursor control. Those products, along with one, which is the Ultra joystick, are certified as designed for Xbox. So Microsoft took these products away, assessed them, so yeah, these will work with our products. The key thing there is that, yes, it is a third-party product, but it's supported and recognised by Xbox and Microsoft. You may see in the news earlier in the year that there were some issues with support being pulled for third-party joysticks or controllers or whatever. That doesn't apply to the Optima joystick and the Smoothers, because they're designed for Xbox. They will. Sorry, that's my Ring doorbell back at home activating. There are no issues with our products. Jumping on to the console, so we've got the Xbox solution with the Xbox adaptive controller. We've got the Nintendo Switch, which is the other big console that's a lot of individuals use for gaming. And we have the Flex controller, which again is, as you can see, it's a very similar footprint to the Xbox adaptive controller. What I really like about the Flex is that your switching ports are at the front, whereas on the AAC, if I go back, you can see they're actually on the back of the device. So having them at the front means you just plug it, as you do with the Xbox adaptive controller, you plug the switches in and they work straight away. And there you can see all the different functions or buttons or as such that you can switch enable as such. What I also like about it is the design of it. You can use this as a controller as well, because the dots at the top replicate the movement and the key functions in the games. So if someone's got some good dexterity, as it were, good sort of fine motor skills, as it were, they can maybe get away with using just this without having to use any switches because of the way it's been laid out and designed. So yeah, great. The other issue with this device to a degree is that it doesn't support a lot of third-party controllers, joysticks, and so forth. It does support the three products I mentioned just now: the Optima joystick, the smoothie switches in the picture, and the Ultra joystick. It does support those as does the Xbox adaptive controller. But yeah, and it's one of these products, one of the two products we don't manufacture, as this is it was our Japanese distributor that manufactures this, and we've taken on board and we can supply it worldwide. So, and there's the Xbox, sorry, the Flex controller connected to the Optima joystick. Yeah, it does work with eye gaze. It is a really sort of long-winded sort of process, though. A lot of different aspects need to be put together, so it's not as seamless as it might appear. But yes, you can utilize a Flex control with eye gaze, and it will be with a Tobii Dynavox eye tracker. So an iSeries, for example, it'll work with that. And yeah, I just mentioned about the gaming joystick and the dual functionality with the Optima. So you've got, as you can see on that picture, you've got switch inputs on either side of those joysticks. That's a uniform thing. With all our joystick and trackball solutions, you're able to switch. You're able to you have switch ports on either side of the device. So if you can't access the yellow and red buttons, you can actually plug a switch in and utilize the switch instead. So this has two modes: mouse and gaming. And to go between modes, you press the yellow and red buttons, hold them down for 12 seconds, the unit will give a beep and it switches to whatever mode. And then if you press them again, it'll switch back to the previous mode. So yeah, really easy. So you can utilize it for normal access. And then if you wish to do gaming, you can switch the mode over to gaming as well. And that's the Ultra joystick, which is again another one that's in our range, which is a more compact design, but again, it has both mouse and gaming capability. So that could be mounted on a wheelchair, for example, or if you don't want a joystick that's a bigger footprint. Or we have the Wolf mounts by Readapt, which is a gaming mount range that they've produced, and these our solutions bolt onto those as well. So yeah, that's the Ultra joystick. The next aspect, which I didn't really sort of think about a great deal, but is becoming more and more popular, is PC gaming. So PC gaming is essentially where you use a keyboard to play a game. I didn't realise it was popular as it obviously is. So basically, with PC gaming, you've got WASD, which are your up, left, down, and right movements, and those keys replicate those movements. But how does an individual with access issues who can't access a keyboard, how do they game on their PC? They use the Quester joystick, which basically replicates those movements. So those are the movements that the Quester joystick replicates. So up, left, right, down, WASD, but also diagonal movements as well. So it'll replicate those. Those settings are always enabled when it leaves our factory. You can switch them off if you wish, but they're already set up to work. So joystick solution for PC gaming is something that we've got approached about, and we made sure we put a solution together. But along with the joystick, we have the Questa switch box, which you can plug in switches. Again, you've got up to 6 switches you can plug into that, and you can replicate. There's a number of different levels that you can access and set up, so you can actually configure the switch box to replicate, games or particular functions in a game. So if you imagine someone who maybe is using Questa switch box, but there's some additional functions that they wish to access in the gameplay, they can utilize the Questa switch box to access those. If they can access those additional functions. So they really do complement each other. So as a package, we tend to do. You can buy them separately, but we tend to do the Questa switch box and the joystick together. How am I doing for time? Okay, at the moment. That's a picture of my son, who I mentioned earlier on. This is sort of the holy grail as far as eye gaze and gaming goes. If I give you a bit of context to this picture, I put it up on Facebook last year, I think. Just put it up on a Sunday afternoon. My social media blew up because people ask me, what is this? Is this available? Is he controlling the game with his eyes? Yes, it's all of those things. So what he's doing, he's playing, utilizing a grid pad. I think it's a grid pad 12 in the picture. He's got a grid set on there, which is configured for Minecraft. And if you look at the far left, you see his friend Will is playing as well. And there on the TV, you can see a split screen. So they're playing against each other or whatever it is you do in Minecraft, but it's a 2-player game. So they are playing independently. So Harj is playing independently along with his friend, and that's the solution that's available now. And that's what it is. It's called Game On. And what effectively it does, and this is a bit long-winded, and actually there is a change now with this, but what it does is it utilizes the IR capability in a AAC communication device. So, for example, a grid pad or a Tobii Dynavox I series has IR built into it for environmental control. We utilize that because IR is a more stable connection there than Bluetooth. As soon as you add a bit of range to Bluetooth, the signal can get a bit, a bit temperamental. If you've got headphones, for example, and you step away from whatever you're listening to or connected to, you'll notice at a certain distance it starts to get a bit jittery. With IR, it's line of sight, yes, but it's a stable connection. So there is a typical sort of like configuration. You've got the Game On connected to the adaptive controller by Microsoft with 2 USBs, one going in the left socket and one going in the right socket, and they've got the D-pad cables. That is changed now because of an update that the Xbox adaptive controller has just recently had. That means you do not need the D-pad cables. All you need is a left and right USB cable connected to the XAC of the adaptive controller. I call it XAC or ZAC. And you can utilize all the functions of D-pad and so forth for movement with just those 2 USB cables. So it's a far neater presentation and less cables involved. But yeah, you see it sending the IR signal to the device, and there is no lag. So if you do get the opportunity, I know if it's anybody wherever you are, I will be at ATIA in January, but I'm also, as you can tell, I'm sitting in a hotel room in Bologna, but I do travel around a lot. So if you do, keep an eye on our social medias. If you know I'm going to be at an event or Prtorian will be an event, we normally have the eye gaze gaming element set up, and you can see there is no lag at all. It's instantaneous. You select a cell or a grid, a cell or on a grid set or page set, and it activates. It instantaneously activates or an action on the gaming console, whether on the Xbox. So yeah, no lag on that front. And that's a typical paired grid set. Within Grid 3, and that's a basic grid set. We've also got the one on the right, which has got a bit more functionality on there. So we have 3 templates. You can download these free off our website if you're a grid pad user. Simple and immediate, and then the one that's horrific. You can't use eye gaze to access it, but this is a full everything sort of function you could possibly do on a controller, we've tried to we've put into this grid set. So what you do with, if you're familiar with 3 or Communicator 5, because there are versions of this for Communicator 5 and for Grid 3. You save this as a template and then you edit it and move it around just so you make it configured to the particular game. And if you go into the accessibility options in most new games, Hogwarts is a good example of that. It shows you the mapping of a controller. It tells you what commands do what functions, what functions do what button presses do what particular action, so you can mimic that in this in a grid. So I've done one for Hogwarts for my son, and kept it really simple, and he really enjoys that. So you can keep it really simple, and I suggest anyone doing that for anyone, I would say start off really simple first, and then as their skill set develops, they can do more. Copilot is a great way of utilizing a normal Xbox or gaming controller along with, for example, an iGaze user as such, or just a general access user. What you're doing is you're actually then doing most of the controls yourself, and they are just selecting key functions, like it could be fire or accelerate if it's a racing game. Then that means that any game is accessible if you use the Copilot sort of method. So you can look at any game and say, okay, if that person, if the individual can do just a simple button press, we could do fire or bring up a force field or whatever. We can do the other function. That brings everybody playing together. So rather than being on the periphery and watching the gameplay, that individual is now involved in the gameplay. And trust me, it is a huge thing to see, but also to be able to for a young person to do, or any person of any age to do. Just a quick run through on some key things. I haven't mentioned PS5, the PlayStation 5. There is an accessible controller, access control, which is in the bottom corner there. It's not great. It's a bit shut off. You can't connect. You can only connect switches to it. You can't connect USB joysticks to it. It's for a very narrow window of individual with regards to their particular access abilities, but it is still an access control or adaptive control for the PS5, and I think it's dropped in price from what I gather. There are some other options there. There's the Xbox for the Prometheus controller, which is the one with the lady's blue, now thingies on. Losing my words today. That's a modular one you can adapt to whichever, to single-handed use or whatever way you wish. The bottom left is a new joystick from Microsoft that's coming out in January. It's part of the Xbox platform. Those tips are all there. You can download off the Microsoft Xbox website. If you've got a 3D printer, you can make custom tips to go on a standard controller. And then the other device there is another gaming controller for the Xbox, which is a third-party one that's assistive controller. Right, I am really running out of time, so I'm going to really rattle through as much as I can now. That's QuadStick, which is a sip and puff controller for individuals who can't access, either iGaze or use a puff and sip switch, as it were. It is an incredible piece of kit, but it is incredibly complicated. But what you can do with it when it's configured correctly is fantastic. This is a resource. I know chaps there. God, his name's just gone out of my head. Oh, that can shoot me. Barry. Oh, Barry Ellis, I think his name. Yes, Barry. So One Switch, please go to the website. There's loads of different options there. He does different controllers, switch access, custom controllers as well. So oneswitch.org is definitely something worth looking at. There's some games such as you can access for the Xbox, Nintendo Switch. Mario Kart's great because you can set it up for auto steer and auto accelerate. There's some great games on PC for PC gaming as well. Crazy Games is great. It's a free online resource, and there's some really cool games there as such. I'm not going to there's a really good report that Scope did on assistive gaming. If you just do Scope assistive gaming, you'll see this report, and it's a very detailed reporting to assistive gaming, the issues that disabled gamers come across. So I will whip through this, and just to really quickly jump on toy control. We do switching interfaces that enable individuals to control or operate battery-powered toys. We have two products, Control and Control Pro. What these do, basically, it'll connect to our wireless smoothie switches, which are part of the SimplyWorks range, and it gives you the ability to access have toy control wirelessly with the device, which is the Control Pro. You can link up to 6 switches to each. Any switches you can link up to 6 switches to one Control or Control Pro. So if you want to set different, if there's a number of different activities you want to do, a number of different users you wish to sort of like doing an activity, you Control and Control Pro are the options for toy control, but essentially a wireless solution. That's a really short video. I don't know if we've got time to play it. We probably just have enough. That's my friend Chris and his daughter Harriet. They're utilising control with a SimplyWorks switch connected to the Bebo toy. These are the alternative switches we do, which are again, so you've got the capability using a wireless switch, but also you can turn any wired switch into a wireless switch using the another one of our products called Send. So sip and puff switches, grass switches, any type of switch that has a standard 3.5mm jack in it, you can convert it into a wireless switch and use it with our SimplyWorks range. That is, and I'm really trying to rush through this. This is a kinetic switch. Basically, it's a gyroscopic switch. So I have this on tap. I put it inside a toy or put it on the surface. It turns the surface into a switch activated surface. The toy, if I tap the toy, it activates. It works on an iPad and it works on with a SimplyWorks receiver, as it were, a switch. I've put these inside in a bag where if you take to the beach, it keeps water for your phone watertight, as it were. I've put one of those in one of those bags, put it in a buoyancy aid, and it's gone to a hydrotherapy session. And the individuals have used that to activate lights, sound, music. So it's a really, it's a really sort of like versatile solution. So that's kinetic. And this is what I was talking to Joanne about. This is the IR toy controller for eye gaze users. So what that does, it allows you to control up to 6 different appliances and gives essentially switch emulation to eye gaze users. So, and then the last one is twin slap. So it's a switch, latch, and timer. And that is basically a solution that allows you to control 1 or 2 toys, 2 channels, 8 operating modes, and you can access at times that you can access different activities, cooperative modes and such, where you've got 2 people working together. So both one has to press one has to press the other button to activate or switch it off or such. That is it. That is a 2-hour presentation in a space of, and I've got a minute left for Q&A, as it were, but there's a QR code. Scan that, that'll take you to the website. Everything I've discussed today is on the website. Please have a look. That link might take you to our assistive gaming range, but everything on toy control is in there as well. And I think, to be honest with you, Joanne, I might do another one if you invite me back to do just on toy control and focus on that. And if you can give me a bit more time, maybe an hour next time, I can do a bit more research.
A double bill webinar.
Double bill. Yeah, but please, pop anything in the chat if there's anything you want to ask me, and yeah, I'll do whatever I can to answer many questions as I can.
That's fantastic, Bob. so inspiring, and it's brilliant. The possibilities are endless there. You can just see there's so many options there for folk. What just in case someone's going to type a question up, well, something I thought of was I have a son who's into gaming myself, and I'm relatively, I know a bit, but I think I would be quite struggling to set something like that up. For parents who maybe wanted to buy this kind of equipment for their children, are there sort of YouTube videos, that kind of thing, on how to actually set these things up, or how else would they get support in actually putting this together?
With the adaptive controllers, for example, the Microsoft one, you buy that directly from Microsoft. I think it's about £75, including delivery. That's pretty straightforward. But if it involves any of our solutions that anybody wants some help or support with, I'm happy to sort of like jump onto a virtual call and just guide them through. The beauty of it is that I've really thrown a lot of information at this webinar at everyone. It is straightforward because the very nature of our solutions, they need to be straightforward for the individuals that we're trying to support. So it sounds like it is rather involved. It actually isn't, and setting things up is by very. I mean, I may say this, but I'm actually not a gamer, so I can say from my background and such that I'm new to gaming, that these solutions are really easy to set up. And the great things like the Nintendo Switch and Mario Kart, now is the time, coming to Christmas, you can buy these consoles at a special price. Or if you don't want to buy them brand new, you can go to like CDEX or any secondhand sort of stores where you can buy an old console. You can buy the games from there that are maybe a year old, but they're great and they're a fraction of the price of the newer ones. But for example, Mario Kart, you can play that and set that up where it's an auto accelerator and auto steer. So all that person needs to do is just set up a switch to activate the special functions, like throwing a mushroom or tortoiseshell or whatever, and it's still playing, being involved in the actual gameplay rather than sitting on the peripheral watching others play and that being the level of their engagement. No, you can actually get direct engagement, direct playing in the actual game. And I'd say it from a personal perspective, but also from a professional perspective, it's so inspiring when you see that, and when you know that you've helped in a very small way to fulfill that, and for that individual to then to take part in that sort of activity. So it's awesome. So yeah, please, if it's we're hoping over the next year or so to next few months as such, to put more content on. So simple things like, how do I configure a particular device to work with the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch or PC gaming or even the PS5. If I can't help you, I will signpost you to people like Barry Ellis and Special Effects and Is Everyone Canon, the gaming charity. They always there are so many more outlets or avenues you can explore to get information from, and that's only getting bigger and bigger. So I wouldn't be daunted or put off by this technology. I'm not really sure if I can get my head around it. It is really simple to set up, and the rewards are, I can say it firsthand, the rewards are immense.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sandra from Highland saying, thanks, Bob. So many things to explore. There definitely are lots of things to go and explore. And with Christmas coming up, particularly, the infrared toy side of things, we get asked quite a lot about that, sources of infrared toys as well. The kind of toys that would work well with those, the IR controllers. So that's something else to explore for Christmas as well. Okay. I think everyone is stunned with the the information.
Standing silence. Yeah. No, again, there's a lot of information to assimilate, and I will be sending the slides over to Joanna and to Robert to distribute. And have a look at this. Any questions you have, you've got my details. Either reach out to me directly or via Core Scotland, and I'm happy to sort of look, I'm in the business of helping and supporting, and if I can't, if there's a solution that is not available from us, I'll signpost you to where I think the option might be, and I'm happy to do that because I wear two hats. I'm a parent of a child with with access needs, but also I work in the industry as well. But I just want to help in whatever way I can, and I think that's something that Pretorian have been really good at in the sense of like putting solutions out there. But I think it's only going to get better, which is cool. And there's so much innovation coming, so many new software games that are coming out being written with with individuals who need assistive gaming in mind. So it's starting to really, it's a movement and it's gaining momentum. So I think over it's an exciting time to be involved in this industry, but also the end users. There are so many options that are coming around. So yeah, watch this space.
Absolutely, and we're very much hoping to see you next June for our conference up in Edinburgh as well. So hopefully
Yes,
anybody that's able
it's
to
in the
come along to
diary.
that in person, you'll be able to meet Bob and get some more
Yeah.
tips in the
No, I'm looking
flesh.
forward to it. Looking forward to it. It'll be great. It'll be great to hang out with you guys and to meet up with everybody and show you some really cool stuff. Because it's great to talk about it, but you need to see it and to get an idea of how easy it is to set up, but how cool it is. So yeah, that's great.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. I think we'll just wrap up here and just thanks again, Bob, for a really inspiring and exciting presentation and lots of things for us to go and find out more about. And please take Bob up on his offer of getting in contact if you need a bit of a help with getting any of these kind of assistive gaming devices set up. I'm sure he'd be really happy to help. Okay, so we thank you for joining us this evening. And this webinar is recorded, so it will be up, archived and up on the website by the end of this evening. So you can view the recording afterwards and the slides. Bob's kindly offered to put the slides up as well, so you'll be able to refer back to his presentation. And we will see you next Wednesday for leading effective strategies with ReadingWise. So we will see you next week at 4 p.m. Thanks again to Bob and have a good evening, everyone. Bye for now.